Welcome
No.
back. Oh, wait.
Yeah,
Okay.
it did the skip thing.
Welcome back, everyone. It's the second week of the Wednesday Night War. I'm with Noah Foster once more, the unofficial UK champion.
Oh yeah, you're right, my belt. Hey Eric, what's going on? Hello everybody. How's the wrestling community doing?
I'm pretty sure they're still up in arms after what happened on Sunday.
Oh jeez. I'm
All
so
right.
glad we focus on Wednesdays.
Yeah,
You know
but
what the
first,
hell?
before
Let's
we
talk
get.
about that for a brief moment. I want to get something off my chest. So the Fiend is the most original idea that WWE has come up with in forever. And here,
Actually, there's a plot twist on that.
oh really? What is it?
You want to know what Braun Strowman revealed about the Fiend and Firefly Funhouse creation?
What is real?
Bray Wyatt ghosted himself from the WWE, locked himself in his house, worked on it for months and months and months, coming up with this character, this universe he was creating, then came back, did some house shows, then went back to being ghosted from the world just to create this character.
Man, you talk about creativity at its fullest, just flushed down the drain.
Yeah, and you saw my video, right?
Oh yeah, I saw it loud and clear. Listen to it. Shout out to YouTube Red subscription. Listen to it while I was at work. Thank goodness the office was dead. I'm like, what do you do to recover? So then you tease the idea of Survivor Series, the Fiend versus Seth. Even though we got this whole WWE draft and now time recording, we know as of right now Seth's on Raw and Bray, the Fiend Bray Wyatt's on SmackDown. You just totally botched that. It's over. At least right now. You really figured if that does happen, you can recover from this. This is one of the worst creative booking moves in WWE history, in my opinion. And I stand by that claim.
And
And the
you
fact
saw
that
what I compared it to.
Oh, yes, I don't. Ugh, blah, 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 blah. The darkness consumes. Thank God this is about Wednesday Night War.
Yeah, but yeah, I've had and I even said this that I'm pretty sure NXT would be affected by this because Vince seems to think he can do whatever he wants still, even though there's a new company on the rise. And I posted that clip from episode 1 saying, "What happens to one of you will affect the other."
Exactly. It's called a domino effect, okay? Have you not heard of that, you senile old man? What happens to one could happen to the other, and then it just falls in line. So every action is the opposite reaction. Yes, I went scientific. I knew it was law. But you get the idea. You can't just put this to the side. Are you kidding me? And Monday night, there was like barely anything about this. And I guarantee you, Friday they did filtering. But I digress. That that was good to get off my chest. All right, so
Yeah,
sorry
it's
about that,
amazing
folks.
how bad they screwed this up. And imagine how Wyatt feels. Like you saw him like tweets where fans were telling him, "Give Vince the mandible claw." Like he knew he was mad. Everyone knew he was mad.
Wouldn't you be furious? I'd be threatening to quit the company or sue him if I had the money and the lawyers. You stifled my creativity for your own selfish pleasure, knowing, or so you claim, that this was a bad idea.
Yeah.
Where's the
My only
judgment?
hope is that they give the title from Lesnar to Wyatt. But then one of my followers told me something.
What'd they say?
Apparently, Lesnar has the authoritarian power to pick and choose who he wants to lose to.
So he's not only one of the richest, if not the highest paid person in the company, he's probably got more creative power than Vince McMahon himself.
Pretty much.
Oh my gosh. Why don't you just pass off the company to Brock Lesnar then if that's the case? No wonder Paul Heyman's creative lead on Raw and then Brazzers is getting involved here. And I'm like, oh god.
And then you got Short Gable.
Yes, I saw that live on the Titantron now. I am so upset about that. Go to 205 Live, Chad. I met Chad Gable live. He told me 205 Live was the most fun he's had in a long time. And I'm like, so now you're just gonna do short jokes. But again, you're not a bully. You're all about encouraging being a star, right?
Yeah.
And this is your way of doing that. Okay. Brilliant. Bloody brilliant. Folks, we do watch all wrestling. We're not just marks or smarks, whatever terminology is used against people in the wrestling community or people that think you do too much pro wrestling. There's no such thing as too much wrestling. You pick and choose what you want. You explore something new when something else distastes you. And even though I saw a hashtag cancel WWE Network trend, I'm going to stick to it on day one, since day one, for the following reasons. One, there's the past when it was good. I can go back and look at that. 2, NXT still comes on the network. Sometimes I don't have the time, as we're going to get into, during the Wiz Network to just dedicate to live NXT. Also, working college gets involved. And 3, the number one thing still exclusive to the WWE Network that is still a golden point of the network, and the reason I will subscribe, NXT takeovers. And I cannot wait to see what they do with NXT War Games. That's after AEW Full Gear, right? Does that
Yeah, if they had it locked into each other, then there would be no hope.
Oh, God. The day that we have an AEW pay-per-view, the day of an NXT takeover. Woo!
Yeah, and plus add the fact that they have the lead on that, because fans could just pay $9.99 just to get that, along with a bunch of extra stuff, whereas AEW is like $50, $60 please, $50 to $60.
Yeah, well, I mean, again, pay-per-views are expensive, but it's not like they're doing it every month or every 2 weeks. And when they do it, it's special, and everything has built and story and continuity to it. Yeah, I wonder where that's lacking lately, but I digress. All right, so I think we did enough venting and main roster illustration. So now you know, folks, we're all around wrestling fans. Yeah. Wednesday Night War, week 2. Boy, what a week again it was. But it didn't kick off on Wednesday, as you told me. AEW started a new thing called AEW Dark. Did they do all 4 of those matches after AEW Dynamite?
No, Darby Allin and Kima was before the show.
Okay.
And so the rest were after.
So they do like one before the show, and then they do dark matches afterwards. Okay. So that's probably the formula that they'll use going forward. So you saw AEW Dark live. I finally watched it on the network, and I love the fact Tony Schiavone hosts it. They do so much with a green room. That is incredible. And the fact they went from the AEW Dark set to the Control Center set like that, that's still pretty dang cool.
Well, did you hear something? Who's going to be a commentator on AEW Dark for the temporal time?
Yes, I did. Now, this is extremely interesting to me. The extremist himself, Taz. I did not see that coming. What could this possibly mean? And what sort of petty backlash could come from this, I wonder? The last time we even saw Taz related to wrestling was when he did the roundtable discussion about the original ECW led by Corey Graves.
Yeah, and then after that, and before that, he wasn't seen for years. He was in Impact.
Yeah, and then he went away into obscurity. Well, not obscurity, but he did it off his own thing with like a podcast and other stuff like that. I don't know if he's a commentator right now for any other like wrestling company.
I don't think so, but it would be interesting to see if he does officially sign with AEW. In fact, I keep hearing rumors that Tony Schiavone is going to be on break in a little bit later in the fall, so maybe they could call Taz up and say, "Hey, Taz, we need you to guest commentate a couple of episodes."
Well, considering the history that Taz and JR share, that'd be a very interesting chemistry, and that would probably change the whole dynamic commentary right there, where you literally have 2 color commentators and 1 play-by-play guy versus what I feel like right now is 2 play-by-play guys and 1 color commentator. And ironically, I feel like the color commentator right now on this set is Jim Ross.
Yeah.
With that, so AEW Dark, that was crazy. 4 matches all at once. What was your favorite match from the AEW Dark matches? You had 4 of them.
Well, it's hard to really say. I like the Darby Allin. I keep trying to pronounce his name. Chima, yeah. I did enjoy that.
Okay. Here's the thing. The rest were literally tag showcases. So it was Darby Allin and Shima, and then it was the craziest match of the night, in my opinion. The 4-on-4 where the rest were like, oh, the hell, do whatever you want.
Along with the most lethal wrestler of all time.
Oh, yes. Is it me, or was Orange Cassidy the most over wrestler in that match from beginning to end? How is that possible?
And all he does was gentle kicks, and yet everyone loves to portray it's lethal deadly.
And he did no kicks. He's like, hold up, puts his hands in the pocket, gets super kicked, and then he literally gets dropped. And then later on, he goes and do a splash, jumping off the rope, just cross bodies everybody while the hands are in his pockets and gets up like, no. I'm like JR. I don't understand Orange Cassidy. I need to see him in action in the ring. This dude is weird, but I like him also. And the mini-me Orange Cassidy, that was priceless.
Yeah.
Give that kid a medal or something. I want to see those two side by side in a picture. That was brilliant. I mean, he's like a Tangelo, or what name would you use for that guy?
I don't know. I would say mini oranges.
Friggin' Austin Powers, mini you complete me reference. But yeah, Darby Allin and CIMA was very good to me. It started off with CIMA delivering a lot of meteors, and Darby Allin is insanely fast. My gosh. Fast and flexible and just doesn't care, it seems. No well-being for his body whatsoever. Delivering 2 coffin drops that failed, only for after a, what was that? Joshi special or something like that, the Road Fruit kind of destroyer move. He picks up, finally, the coffin drop and pins CIMA. They're making Darby Allin look very strong here. And apparently Chris Jericho's very high on the guy, too. So what's your thoughts on Darby Allin?
Well, I didn't know who he was until AEW brought him in, so that's a positive.
Okay.
And I did enjoy his first match on the company's payroll when he fought Cody for 20 minutes.
To a draw, I might add. The only draw so far in AEW history.
Yeah, and we'll get to the draw part, what they mentioned about the tag team match. That was awesome.
Oh, yeah. But yeah, I thought it was a great opener, and I think pushing Darby right now is very good. I know he's well known from Defy Wrestling because friends I know and Rip and YouTubers I've watched and listened to their own little creativity, John Ritland, the Dorbinator, they talk about Defy all the time and how big of fans they were of Darby Allin, and also the best ref probably in the company. Maybe she should have been repping this 4-on-4, Aubrey Edwards, but I digress. So this 4-on-4.
Yeah, in fact, here's the thing about her. I found out.
What?
She was at Daniel Bryan's retirement speech. They have her on footage.
Oh, she was?
Yeah, she was publicly there.
Oh, wow. I need to go back and see if I can find that. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, I think someone on Twitter found that out.
Well, thank you, Twitter. So, there's good to Twitter. That's good to Twitter. So the next match was what? The 4-on-4. You had the Lucha Brothers and now what's known as the Hybrid 2, a.k.a. Botchman in the ring. He couldn't even get him between the ropes like he was drunk or something.
Yeah, and then we also had the women's tag team match.
Yeah, and then we had the final match between, which was a rematch technically from, what was it?
All Out.
Yeah, the Jungle Express and SCU. And I must say, the women, they need to really get the crowd behind them. Obviously, there's still a lot of care to develop. But, for example, one of my personal favorites, Allie. Hey, Allie. I know Laura from all the way back in Smash Wrestling, how she's developed these different type of personas between going after Rosemary as the Demon Slayer, or being Cherry Bomb, this vigorous, just hothead that gets under your skin, that doesn't give a damn about anybody but herself. And then you got innocent Bubbly Eye that just loves being a wrestler, loves being happy, like Swedish Fish and Coffee. She's been all over the place between Rise and Smash and Impact Wrestling, and now she's in All Elite Wrestling. And I think her and...
After a huge send-off in Impact...
That hit me hard, man. They liked my tweets, too. Both Allie and Rosemary did. I would love to meet Demon X Bunny one day. I got to go to a StarCast. That's on my bucket list. But I digress. I think the duo, though, of Allie and Britt is a very interesting chemistry. You got Britt, that's probably the most serious on the division, and believes she should be champion. And then you got just bubbly, happy, I'm Allie, just tagging together against the top Gaetian, current World of Stardom champion, Bea Priestley, and then her partner, Penelope Ford, the Bad Lady. And in the end, the Bad Lady, she tapped out to a literal mandible claw by a dentist. I love how Britt's career fits into her wrestling as her finisher. Because I was like, okay, this is a nice submission. And then like, oh, geez, whoa, woo. And those names also. Real dental work right on the spot. Doctor will see you now. Here's your bill. But hey, Allie got her win, so there you go.
Yeah, and then, also, did you hear what's going to be the main event of AEW Dark next week?
No, I don't even know the next AEW Dark because I'm hashtag.
They filmed it after the show this week, and guess who they're gonna have as their main event?
Who?
Joey Janelle versus Kenny Omega.
Oh God! Here we go.
In an unsanctioned match.
Wait! Unsanctioned? Uh-oh. This didn't work well with Joey Janelle last time. Did he not learn his lesson?
They're in Philadelphia, so they have to do hardcore.
Well, of course, and also Kenny Omega friggin' now trying to be the cleaner in a hardcore style, trying to compete against Jon Moxley. Joey Janela don't have a chance, in my opinion. But I guess we'll talk more about that a little bit. I'm looking forward to that. And then the 4-on-4 was just move. Like, I still think Orange Cassidy was the most over here, but in the end, you're hyping up your tag team division, probably the best tag team division going right now in wrestling, and you're hyping up your tag team tournament with all these teams, including a team that's looking out right now. And in the end, Private Party and Best Friends, they lost to Lucha Brothers and the Hybrid 2. I gotta get used to that name. Lucha Brothers look incredibly strong here. Private Party, they know how to fly. That voice, though, by freaking, what's his name? Isaiah. She's a piece. I thought Melina's voice was high.
Yeah.
And then Luchasaurus. What can you say about Luchasaurus? I like the fact that he's like the strongest guy on the team. You got this dynamic of Luchasaurus, this like his innocent little pet, it seems, Jungle Boy. And here I thought Jungle Boy and Luchasaurus was the pet. Boy, was I wrong. And then you got the third factor of Marco Stunt, which a lot of people are looking down like, you got childlike wrestling here. What's going on here?
Did they forget during Double or Nothing there was a guy who literally was wrestling on one leg?
Yeah. And
Wait,
like
0 legs.
Oh, 0 legs, yeah. And then you had SCU, and again, SCU, they came out on top, and I think the same guy got pinned here, didn't he? It was,
Marco Stunt.
Yeah, Marco Stunt. He's like the fall guy now. I thought Chase Owens was the fall guy for Bullet Club, but I digress. But yeah, I thought...
And then after the show, if they didn't show this, they cut a promo thanking the DC audience and also said that although the fans were awesome, this is the worst town we've ever been to. Considering where they were hosting it, I don't blame them.
In this case, I'm not getting political, but in this case, I have to agree. But I thought AEW Dark was pretty cool. It showed the matches, it hyped up the show, and then we get into Wednesday night, and here we go.
And they make them matter with the points.
Yes, and the wins and losses actually matter because they did play in the stats. I saw that because they did show everybody's stats. Even during the tag entrance, they showed everyone's individual stats. So let's start with AEW. AEW Dynamite kicks off. They started with the same approach as last week, a video package hyping their opening match, which was the Young Bucks versus Private Party.
Yes.
Holy cow. This was not your typical Young Bucks match. Everyone faced the Young Bucks as like spot monkeys, right? We're going to fly, we're going to kick, we're going to break you in ties. It was like the Young Bucks had a point to prove, and they were almost acting heelish, it seems, taking this match extremely seriously, seeing how commentators put them over as the top seed to win this tag team tournament against young up-and-comers. Their recruits, by the way, they brought into AEW, Private Party.
And then you got to remember the Young Bucks' past accomplishments.
Exactly. They pretty much went down the line, all of that. Not to mention the way they really define the characters of these teams. Like you saw Private Party's entrance with the rope, out of security, coming from I forget what they said, but weighing in at this type of alcoholic weight. That was freaking funny. And my gosh, everybody shined in this. Now, I'll put it out right now. When the tournament was first announced, my pick to win the whole thing, because I wanted them to really change, really do something different. And I've seen these guys a little bit in House of Glory. That's pretty much the only thing you would know these guys from. I picked Private Party to win the whole thing. And so far, my pick's still in it. Private Party beat the Young Bucks with the most powerful move in wrestling, a roll-up after stopping an attempt at Beth Meltzer Driver.
Yeah, and people were on the assumption that, it's clearly going to go to the Young Bucks. This is clearly going to be their match. No, and I kept saying, I called this.
Yeah, exactly. I was like, look, I get their executives. They're going to have fun with this company, but they're not going to make the company about themselves. This isn't
Cody's job at times.
I mean, this isn't WCW. Again, this is like I said, the mistakes they want to avoid for WCW. They avoided it here. The Young Bucks put over the next up-and-coming team, and everybody was shocked, including Hybrid 2 and SCU, who were looking in the audience. And it was like, wow, Private Party advanced. And then they showed their celebration throughout the entire commercial break, even though it was mute. But then they put the celebration up live on their YouTube channel.
Oh, you want to know something else about Private Party?
What?
They were number 3 and 2 on trending on Twitter worldwide.
Wow. Well, I think they made their mark now.
Yeah, imagine if that other company actually decided to put the feed over. Huh?
Yeah, I know, right? It's like, what is this? Are we in the Twilight Zone? But I digress. And yeah, we saw another thing I want to point out. Just a fact, YouTube, when you look at NXT versus AEW now, NXT just clips, not really finishes. But but AEW actually tells you this actually happened at the end. I don't know if that's a weakness to them or more like a strength, because you would think you would want to watch the actual live prod to see what happens, not just, okay, here's the clip of the finish, you know? You kind of give away the result, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's just my thoughts. So, switching over to NXT, they opened with what's now called the NXT Cruiserweight Championship match between Drew Gulak and a man that apparently has been finding his own demons, trying to find himself. I can relate to that. Lio Rush. And these two put on quite a clinic. It was 0 to 100 through the bell ring. Dropkick out of the corner, dark jogging each finisher. Gulak slowed it down. Lio Rush matched Gulak move for move, it seemed. Knew what was coming, knew how to escape from it, and he won the end with his finisher, Gulak Mutual Respect. So,
and a tribute to Eddie Guerrero.
Yeah, tribute. Well, again, both companies put over the fact that this week marked Eddie Guerrero's birthday. Shout out to him. Viva la raza. Rest in peace. But I thought both companies gave us a stellar opener. I didn't see a weakness in either one.
Yeah, I think when I looked at NXT and AEW's opening match, I was like, it goes to AEW for me, because that was still a shocking moment for a lot of people. And they got number 3 on trending. NXT was like in the top, in the 10s.
And again, NXT is 5 years established, but this is also the first time ever NXT put over the Cruiserweight title. I'm sure that's going to be a standard going forward. But you can't argue the shock value with Private Party going over the Young Bucks, because the first thing you think of All Elite or being the Elite was the Young Bucks. I bet 90% of people thought the Young Bucks were going to win this thing. I was part of the 10 like you that thought, no, there's going to be a change, something different's going to happen. And it did. And even though they looked distraught, you know that backstage the Young Bucks were probably like, I think we did a good job.
Yeah.
And I think they did. So I say that was just a win overall. But now let's get into what probably was the best segment of the night.
Yeah.
Take me through your thoughts on Chris Jericho and his promo.
Basically, it's like, what Jericho could literally just pick up a pencil and say, hey, this is a pencil, and fans will cheer and go crazy.
But basically, I mean, so Jericho introduces us not only to himself, La Champion, but he introduces now his inner circle. And he puts over everybody from the psychos in the former LAX, Santana and Ortiz, to the up-and-comer, what do you call him? Like a freaking
Sammy Guevara.
Yeah, Mexican god or something like that. Chiseled, Sammy Guevara, to the juggernaut, the undefeated MMA, Jake Hager. And then here's the plot twists. He literally shot at WWE Creative as soon as the people chanted, "We the people." Even Jack Hager almost broke character, just slightly smiling at Chris Jericho's rebuttal that, okay, I'm going to let it go from all the, okay, stop it. That was a stupid idea from bad creative and you know it. Oh!
Yeah, when I heard that, I was like, I'm pretty sure no one would complain about this after what happened on Sunday.
That just added fuel to the fire on how true Chris Jericho's words are. And basically he says, all these guys, they're on my list. We are the inner circle. And we will own all Elite Wrestling. And then he puts over the fact how Cody, he didn't like Cody. He didn't like Cody's family. And on November 9th, Full Gear, I'm going to beat the ever-living shit out of you.
Yeah.
You're welcome.
And here's the thing Chris Jericho revealed at Fight for the Fallen.
What?
When he cut that promo on Hangman Page, he admitted in an interview that was his first unscripted promo in 20 years.
Oh, yeah, I remember that, because that's right. There's no rise in AEW. Everything here is just run for the wrestlers, all natural. I wonder if the same thing applies to NWA Power, because I did watch that, and those promos felt very organic.
Yeah, I saw like the first 15 minutes of it, but then I had to get to work.
Yeah, if you get a chance, go check it out. I think Eli Drake and Nick Aldis alone put over how much the NWA is passionate about just an old school form of wrestling. And
yeah,
the time I'm sure Burnett had an orgasm being commentator that night. But I digress.
And then I'm pretty sure, imagine how people who watched NWA when it was big and whatnot, and they saw the set.
Shout out to you, Jeff Meacham. I'm sure he did. Anyway, going back to NXT after their opening match, they hyped up the return of the longest reigning NXT champion Finn Balor with video package about Finn Balor, Balor Club Worldwide, and how he brought out his demon and he was like the most extraordinary man. And then we also get another hype package for Tegan Knox, who will be back on NXT TV next week. So then we go to NXT and we get their own badass, Rhea Ripley destroying Aaliyah. NXT was more the show that was, to me, story driven versus wrestling shown. Then again, it had like 3 great matches when I look at the whole thing. But this match right here was just a squash and just dominated Rhea Ripley's power. She pulled out like her own Cesaro swing and totally just lifting Aaliyah, and then Impact plants Aaliyah and forces her to tap out. I probably was going to break her ankle. Jeez.
Yeah, I was like, oh.
That was brutal. And apparently she calls her mark. She says, Shayna, I'm coming for you. And to this day, Shayna Baszler has not defeated via pinfall or submission, snap, tap, or what was it? Sleep, snap, or something like that, or tap. I think it's like that. Anyway, she has not done that to Rhea Ripley. So Shayna Baszler, you got somebody gunning for you that has a legitimate case. Just saying.
Yeah.
So good luck on that. And
then this was also going on during the whole Jericho promo, the Forgotten Sons versus Breezango,
who are now Men at Work, one of my favorite bands. I like their music, Overkill and Land Down Under. It's a mistake. I like the fact that Breezango is actually mixing it up with the type of intros they can do based on careers. I almost thought someone was going to go, whoop, there it is, based on their music. But that was pretty funny. But yeah, they were supposed to face Everrise, and instead, out comes Riker with Everrise destroyed. And here come the Forgotten Sons to their theme. We will not be forgotten. Do unto others. And they basically use the number games to destroy Breezango. So it's like, okay, this rivalry continues. Are you trying to establish that division? Or is Forgotten Sons really trying to make you remember them? I mean, if nothing else, they did get booed. So they are enlisting heat.
Yeah, like when I was doing my ratings for the NXT shows, I gave Rhea Ripley and Ayla a 2 stars because how short it was.
Right.
And I gave the Forgotten Sons and Breezango 2 stars and 2.25 stars. Mainly the 25 point was just okay, that was a nice entrance from the Breezango team.
It wasn't like freaking Scott Steiner sirens, and they're not fashionably anymore. The question now is, what career do they use next? That I don't know, because like, oh, Beth Phoenix, they got so many towels, and then Nigel putting over, hey Beth, you okay over there? You need a towel? Freaking Chippendale's entrance over there. What the world's going on here?
Yeah, and speaking of NXT, there's now word going around that yes, they are officially maybe moving out of Full Sail a little bit to go to 5,000 arenas.
Yeah, because here's the thing: NXT Full Sail holds like what 800 people, I think, and then you have. Yeah, and then you have the AEW shows that are doing at least 5,000, okay? When you hear the word sold out, nothing's ever truly sold out because you got scalpers, you got tarped off areas. But as far as AEW versus NXT goes, AEW is taking on bigger venues, they're going to different cities, and they are getting more exposure than NXT. I feel like that plays to their strength. But then some people are like, is AEW competing with NXT, or is AEW trying to compete with main roster WWE? Look, I don't know about that. I mean, last week it was like, what, 14,000, I think they said, at DC? But that was their premiere. This week, I don't think they even hit 10,000. So I feel like it's still just AEW versus NXT. But again, NXT, they do need to move around, in my opinion, as long as Triple H remains in lead of that.
Yeah, and occasionally go back to Full Sail.
Exactly. Don't forget where you come from. AEW doesn't necessarily have a hometown. Well, I guess they do have Florida and stuff like that. But, I mean, and Tony Khan said that we will establish doing all-out type events every year in Chicago, and they want to do more with Florida. They plan on doing like that type of event down in Florida every year. So, I mean, you still have your home base. You just don't forget about it. I think that
I like how Vince has completely forgot about Madison Square Garden until G1 Supercard happened.
Yeah, and then look what happened there. You missed out, but now he's trying to get back in the Garden, and only because of nostalgia did you have a really great show, and even then, it's like, whatever. Anyway.
And missed opportunities with Austin and Bray Wyatt.
Yeah, let's not go down that path again. So anyway, going back to AEW, we get a number 1 contenders match that we find out for the AEW World Championship, because we were wondering how they determined the person to face Jericho next week, because again, both titles will be defended next week, October 16th. It was Jimmy Havoc who won the Cracker Barrel, whatever
Death
that
match
match.
at the point.
Yeah, versus Darby Allin, who, well, basically beat CIMA. And this match, I will say this, these Darby Allin matches, they're starting to feel a little similar to me, almost like a John Cena approach. He looks around, he gets beaten up, he basically gets the crap beat out of him, and then he comes back towards the end with offense and wins, and he legitimately wins with just the coffin drop. If I were to compare this match between him and CIMA, I think I like him and CIMA more just because of how fast dynamic was. The biggest dynamic here was both men were biting each other because both men are legitimately insane.
Yeah.
But hey, Darby Allin won with a coffin drop, nailed again, and Darby.
I love how the commentators kept saying like although they are mostly known for their hardcore antics, they do want to prove that they're technical wrestlers.
Yeah, exactly. They're not just what's the word I'm looking for?
Spot monkeys.
Classifying wrestlers based on what they're known for in one genre. They're testing them out on all fronts: tag, standard, and gimmick. Truth be told, we know Darby Allin and Jimmy Havoc, they're crazy. They're deathmatch wrestlers, but they can also go in the ring too. This match proved that, although the binding was a little extreme. And JR's like, hey, Rev, take control here. That should have been a disqualification because, JR's old school. Like, usually when you bite, that shouldn't listen to disqualification, right? Both men bit each other like twice.
I guess it was 3 times.
I think you're right. Anyway, Tiger Driver 98, he tried to go for Acid Rainmaker, but in the end, Jimmy kicked out at 2 from a crucifix pin. Darby hit the coffin drop right on. That is a brutal move, by the way. And the fact he actually takes a moment to look, be like, okay, I see him. I know how far I got to jump. But then he just lets gravity do the work. You're crazy, dude. But it paid off. He won again.
Yeah.
Got coffin drop. So now we know we're going to get Chris Jericho versus Darby Allin for the AEW World Championship. It could be Cody versus Darby. Keyword could be. But
and guess what they also announced?
What they also announced?
Philadelphia street fight between the two.
Okay, I get it. You're in the home, the stomping grounds of ECW. So, of course, you feel you gotta go a little extreme. You're bringing Taz back for dark matches. That's saying something. But, really? A street fight? Come on! But I kind of like that because here's the thing. I feel like everybody right now is just writing off Darby if you're a casual because it's Chris freaking Jericho. Obviously, the money match here to looking at if you're a casual is Jericho versus Cody. But now, in a street fight stipulation, it allows more freedom to believe Darby Allin could win.
And then you got to also contend that it also helps Jericho because, he can't do the things he used to do like 10 years ago.
Well, I mean, let's face it. Chris Jericho's not in the best of shape. He's 50 years old. He has a little too much of the bubbly at times. And he's very slow in the ring. Just saying. But then again, he also said that you're not facing Jericho, because I did see that exclusive. I was just waiting on that to the end. You're facing the Painmaker. They put it as the Painmaker, Chris Jericho, with the Painmaker makeup and the graphic.
Yeah.
Darby Allin. So again, different side of Jericho. Should be very interesting.
Yeah.
But before all that, let's go back to NXT. They start hyping up more. We learn we're finally getting the rubber match between Keith Lee and Dominik Dijakovic. And they hype up Keith Lee, who says he knows Dijakovic, but he's more hungry, and he wants this more. Come the end of it, you will bask in my glory. And then we get Cameron Grimes. Everyone talks about Cameron Grimes' hat. I have no problem with the hat, honestly. But Wild Caveman, Wild Caveman Cameron Grimes versus Bola, or so it was going to be until literally it looked like as soon as the guy on the ring, he pointed up to the ramp. Here comes Dave. Well, we didn't see it until later after the double stomp because ding, double stomp, 1, 2, 3.
Yeah, when I saw it, I was like, oh, dear God, you gotta be kidding me. You actually fell for that? And then it was like, oh, Killian Dane's there, so they weren't playing the stupid card.
No, they actually weren't. It was continuality because Killian Dane, he is pissed. And he says, this is just beginning as he throws Bola on the announce table. That's over the other side of the arena. And that's it. And Grimes got the hell out of Dodge. They got the match done. Grimes got the win. Grimes, bye-bye.
And at least it didn't make Bo completely stupid if they actually had no one up there.
Yeah, exactly.
Hey, look, there's a guy up there. What?
Yeah,
because it's Killian Dane.
What's going on here? Oh, double stump. And then they cut to Killian Dane as the refs counting the 1, 2, 3. Grimes looking on as Dane's running, walking down the ring like, count? Okay, I'm gone. Anyway, following that, we get hype package then now for Damian Priest, who basically says how he will use Pete Dunne's name to live in infamy and live forever. So Dunne will now be the next one on his list, basically, of his accolades. And moving on from there, we get probably my second favorite match from NXT. Isaiah Swerve Scott versus Roderick Strong, with the Undisputed Era hyping up Roderick Strong. This match was strong style. So many brutal strikes.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure Nakamura was watching this and was like, what happened to my life?
Yeah, no sign of Nakamura or the IC title. Gee, I wonder why that is. But yeah,
also, speaking of which, the draft and how you want to know the saddest thing that happened?
What happened?
The order of draft they did, they leaked it on the site before the show.
So they literally did follow that list.
Yes.
Oh, God.
And then it came out of the who's going to be drafted to Raw. It got leaked again. And I was like, okay, someone has to get fired probably.
Yeah, well, Vince probably doesn't care. He's focused on the XFL, I would think, at this point, because literally SmackDown was about Fox Sports and every personality from Fox Sports that you could expect to be highlighted through SmackDown on Fox, because we're sports or trying to be sports. I'm like, I don't know how
we're going to hire Lucha House Party.
Well, that was a surprise in itself. I mean, they took them from 205 Live, and we'll see what they do with them. Maybe Rey and Andrade. Maybe they'll start a Mexican division on SmackDown. I guess we'll see.
So they're going to go with the WCW approach of where they just go ahead and lop all the cruiserweights and high flyers in one area and then not push them at all?
Probably, based on, sports situation and the fact that turned the WWE into the MMA, kind of, with blood money. I don't know.
Yeah.
Anyway, Swerve and Scott, though, was a really great match. And I think even though Strong, he won with a little help from the Era, who didn't get really involved, but it was more like a distracted finish because Swerve saw, oh, shoot, numbers game. It's 4 against 1. I need to beat him quick. Here comes, I love that jacket, by the way. I need that jacket. Here comes freaking Kyle O'Reilly and Bobby Fish. Like, you stay away. Knee strike to the side of the face. And then end of heartache. And then Stronghold submission-based finish that wrenched Isaiah in a way your body's not supposed to go. Isaiah, though, had some very close near falls in this match. Crowd got hot. And Mario and Beth were even selling this very well. I thought it was a very good match, probably. I gave this match definitely like 3 3/4.
I gave it a 4-star.
Oh, nice. I think the only thing for me was the fact that I just wanted to see Strong do it literally by himself. But I get it. Undisputed Era. Promise you got to remain intact. You don't want any more challengers. You got to prove your point. Prove your dominance.
But then we got Velveteen Dream to pop in.
Oh, yeah. Let's go ahead and talk about that before we go back to AEW. So Velveteen Dream pops in as soon as Adam Cole praises Isaiah Scott Swerve about all these people going up against the Era. But if you're going to beat us, you must be dreaming. You said dream. And then we get the lasers, the smoke, and again, the Dream owning the spotlight and owning NXT. Literally pointing out Roderick Strong for that picture. I'm like, okay, jeez. And
then I was like, did they see HBK and was like, let's reference that again.
We know how much HBK is influencing this. There's no doubt about that, okay? And they're just pushing the envelope with Velveteen Dream, and he says, you get to experience the Dream again in 2 weeks. But, Roddy, come that time, we're going to show that you're just not strong enough. And then I'm like, oh!
No, they said that you don't measure up.
Yeah, you don't measure up. And then I was like, oh my God.
I was like, oh dear God. Okay, I must stress, Vince keeps saying we'll never go back to the Attitude Era. This is clearly something from the Attitude Era.
You think he showed it? The Brazzers had something to do with this? I'm surprised Brazzers didn't praise this, actually, with the criticism. I'm like, oh, shorty, I rest my case. Brutality. Brazzers win. But Brazzers didn't even praise this segment. You should have praised this segment and Strong having a connection. And basically then we get Ciampa coming out methodically menacing as ever with a camel crutch, a callback to, oh, you know. And he literally just comes to the ring slowly. But the fact is the Era has a 4-on-1 numbers game.
So we must bring in an equalizer.
Yeah, he grabs a chair along with that. Era's like, okay, we're getting the hell out of here. And he didn't even raise his speed or muscles at all. He literally just came in the ring, sat in the middle with the chair, with the crutch at his side, grabbed a mic, and he basically said, "Goldie, Daddy's home." Well,
Yeah.
I think we know what's next for Adam Cole.
Yeah, but I'm like thinking like, okay, you gotta do Finn Balor, Gargano, and Cole at War Games.
Something's got to give. War Games is so unpredictable, and I love that. Again, the reason I love NXT.
And
Anyway,
this is what I believe I did say this, like how I said there should be a 3-3-3 War Games match this time next year.
yeah.
Well, here's something else I forgot to add. Roderick Strong is North American champion. The Undisputed Era have the tag team gold. Winner take all.
Yeah, sure, why not? Create a new tag team on the spot and see what happens. I mean, and then, of course, following this, we get, I forgot also, commentary was pretty funny in this match as Beth Phoenix put over her husband, Edge, and Mara's like, the N in NXT does not stand for nepotism. I got to get myself out of the doghouse somehow. But based on that photo, Burt Reynolds probably happy about that. That's vintage, Marl. That's Michael Cole's line. Oh, man. The chemistry between Marvel and Beth Phoenix is slowly developing, and I like it so far. They're really doing well with her. Better than Renee was doing with Cole and Corey, but that's a whole nother thing. Correspondent, special guest correspondent on SmackDown. Seems to be a better role for her. Anyway, going
And
back
backstage co-host.
Yeah. I'm going to check that out. I'll see if it has Talking Smack potential. It might just be, Sports Center type recap thing. But at least we'll get...
The fact that CM Punk was called in to basically hopefully be joining them, he did confirm in Collider that, yeah, I got a call from Fox. Not WWE, a call from Fox.
Right, and his gear has been taken down from Pro Wrestling Tees, which clearly tells me they're going to put his stuff or do something with him as far as WWE Shop goes. Because it's like, okay, you're not so much independent anymore. You're working for Fox. So we'll see how that goes. And again, at least we don't have botching Coach. So that's a plus in itself.
Yeah.
All right, let's go ahead and go back to AEW. So AEW then, they gave us a tag team showcase, which basically was the setup to figure out who was going to face. Because I was wondering what they're going to do with this, whether dark match or winner of this maybe faces the champ, even though the champ was involved. By the way, mad respect to the crowd putting over the champ. She got hugely cheered on her entrance. That was unbelievable to me.
Rio.
Yep, Riho and her tag partner, the Good Doctor, Britt Baker, baby, versus the top Gaijin of apologies if I've screwed that up, folks, of Stardom and Japan, Rhea Priestley and her partner, Emi Sakura. They're still using these Joshi Pro wrestlers, and this was a battle of two bitter rivals and teacher versus student, since Emi Sakura taught Riho. I didn't know that. And this was an interesting match. I thought that this match was better received than the other women's tag match from AEW Dark. And basically, you had the story of both rivalries play out here as Bea Priestley constantly teased and went after Britt Baker and Riho. She was basically one-on-one a lot of times with her teacher. But it wasn't until Britt and Emmy were basically in control of this match where we really got an idea of which way this match was going. Emi Sakura, of course, being a fan of Freddie Mercury, sporting Remo Rock You and all that type of stuff, hyping that up. She had a great cross-body throw of herself into Britt Baker into the corner. Action spill to the outside of the ring. Riho goes off the top rope. And eventually, Britt Baker and Bea Priestley make the match for Full Gear already. They constantly come after each other, blow for blow, blow for blow, blow for blow. But fast forwarding through this match, it wasn't towards the end where Britt Baker gets the advantage over Emi Sakura, ties her up in submission, and Metal Crawl. JR, comment of the night. What the world? We got a real doctor with a real Metal Crawl. What the hell is happening here?
Yeah.
And Britt Baker picks up the win for her team. And then Bea Priestley and Britt, they brought to the point that Britt Baker gets a shiner.
Yeah, and now it's been announced that, Rio and Britt Baker are going to fight next week.
Correct. Yeah, even though it was like mutual. I thought for sure Britt Baker was going to turn on Riho after this match and sock her, but mutual respect, and the match was officially made. She finally gets her opportunity against Riho so far in a normal match next week on AEW Dynamite for the Women's Championship.
Well, I'm expecting Bea Priestley to screw Britt Baker.
Oh, without a doubt. I'm telling you right now, they're going to set up Bea Priestley versus Britt Baker at Full Gear. Mark my words. That's got to happen.
Yeah. Also, speaking of Japanese wrestling, you've heard about what's going on in Japan, right?
Yes.
Yeah, the New Japan Dojo's been destroyed.
Yeah, I'm very sad about that. I'm
Yeah.
sure.
Also, um, did you see some images regarding the event that was before the storm hit?
No, I have not yet.
Yeah, this was before the storm, and please know this is legit.
Yeah, and shout out to everybody there in New Japan Pro Wrestling.
Do you see it?
Damn!
The skies turned pink.
That is disturbing.
Oh, and you want to know what else? According to Japanese culture, the sky color is to them is the symbol of death.
Well, I mean, if it was blood red, then that would case it right there.
Oh, don't worry about the sky being blood red or anything. That happened in Indonesia.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah.
Mixed up part of the world. My prayers go out to everybody there, and I hope they do rebuild that dojo. I can imagine how this affects Roki Goto, especially.
Yeah, and then you got all of other Japan. Like, I heard a volcano even erupted when the hurricane hit, and an earthquake. And I was like, they really can't catch a break.
No, they can't. Jesus, Lord. Again, my prayers to them. By the way, Aubrey Evers was the ref during this tag match, and she knew how to take control. Even Bea Priestley was trying to go up against Aubrey. Like, hey, no, you did your thing. Get out of here. Like, okay, fine, I'm gone. Aubrey Evers is the best ref in all Elite Wrestling, both men or women's matches. Hands down.
If they don't have a match where there's two referees, which is Errol Hebner and RB, that's going to be like a missed opportunity there. Imagine you have both of those referees with their past antics trying to work together, but also having issues. Basically, the old guard trying to fight off this new person that's a lot like himself.
Well, think about this. If Aubrey takes a bump, and if she's the ref in the match that's going to happen between Britt and Bea, and I guarantee you that could happen at this point because she's no stranger to taking bumps. If she takes a bump and Earl Hebner's the guy that comes down, there you go right there. That would be the perfect situation for that to happen. I would love to see that. But again, we have to wait and see. Bottom line, Dynamite keeps me wanting more. That's the best thing about this.
Yeah.
So what did you rate this match, by the way?
I gave it. Let me double check just to be safe. I gave it 3 stars.
Yeah, I mean it was a run-of-the-mill women's tag match. Crowd was red hot for Rico. Emi Sakura got the crowd almost chant, "We will rock you" at times, and everybody just wants to see Britt and Bea in a freaking match, including me. This was a nice run-of-the-mill tag match. Again, a focus on tag team wrestling in both men and women. That is AEW's greatest strength. I gave it 3 stars as well. All right, so let's go ahead and talk about the next segment in AEW, though. So we get like a little video thing where all of a sudden we see this Titantron, and it's Chuck Taylor and Trent Beretta hugging. It's like, that's the best video package I've ever seen. And we
I was like, like at this point, I was expecting them to just play the Titanic theme song.
Sorry, not copyright.
Especially since Sony went ahead and copyrighted Angry Joe's video for like a 4-second audio clip.
Well, Vince isn't the only one that's petty, and I understand business is business, but I digress. Anyway, they're being interviewed ringside about their thoughts on the Tag Team Championship tournament and their upcoming match. But then Trent and Chuck says, "You want our thoughts? Don't ask us. Ask this guy." Crowd explodes. Who's in the audience? Orange Cassidy, and all he does is just and just casual cool thumbs up. And JR is still like, I still don't understand Orange Cassidy. I don't understand this guy. I'm pretty sure nobody does at this point. Let's just say it like it is. Nobody understands at this point. Let's go ahead and go back to NXT, though, for their women's match. They had 2 women's matches as well. Their second women's match was Dakota Kai versus Bianca Belair. And these two, you could definitely tell these two are out to prove a point. Dakota Kai back from injury. She already had a nice win last week, and then she's back in action again against Bianca Belair, who's trying to keep up momentum, trying to prove to herself she deserves an NXT Women's Championship opportunity. And these two exchange kicks and forearms and all sorts of strikes and counter roll-ups. But in the end, Bianca Belair, frustration aside, it looked like she was about to have a mental breakdown. I thought the hair whip was going to come into play. Did not.
I'm surprised they didn't use it.
She KO'd Dakota Kai for the 1, 2, 3 in a was like a like, whew. Yeah, I'm surprised actually. She has not used the hair whip in actually a while, which really surprises me.
Last time I recall her using it was against Shayna Baszler.
Exactly, in the friggin' championship match. And
you saw the scar it produced.
Yeah, she teared her skin. Because that's no joke. That's real, man. That's part of her. But anyway, she's like, so Rhea wants to challenge her. If anyone's gonna challenge Shayna, they gotta go through me. The EST.
Yeah, except here's the thing I'm gonna point out. If I was a character on the show, I would come out and just say, Bianca, although you are a worthy wrestler, unlike certain people who have commented on you in the past,
Sam Roberts.
I would like to point out that you lost to her twice. Rhea Ripley hasn't lost to her. In fact, she's defeated her by disqualification. So Rhea Ripley has one over on you.
Exactly. Thank you. That's why I feel like Rhea Ripley right now, she has no competition. She deserves the match. And again, War Games, we'll see what happens. But I digress. This was a nice little women's match. And basically, we go now to the other side of the Keith Lee Dijakovic field. Dijakovic hypes up his match and says Dijakovic, he knows Keith Lee's limits. And come next week, you will feast your eyes. And then we get
and I was like, no, don't do the rubber match now. Do it for the title.
These two right here, I feel like even in defeat, no one's going to be hurt. But I'm like, oh, so soon. Damn it. But I digress. Dijakovic and Keith Lee have two of the brightest futures in NXT, in my opinion. Those are two top stars just waiting to happen.
Yeah, though, of course, when you compare on the main roster, they have no future. Especially Keith Lee, because you know how Vince looks at Samoa Joe.
Don't remind me about that. And he's still to be drafted either. And then Finn Balor gets more high. Speaking of draft, this video package Finn Balor started when he got drafted by Mick Foley in 2016.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he was like, and we all remember how that run was until it stopped.
Well, I mean, again, the Universal title was a curse. That was his biggest accolade, and then he immediately relinquished it the following day due to shoulder surgery.
Yeah.
Never recovered since. But
now he's back in NXT, so hopefully he's 100% better than he ever was in WWE.
You can only hope and pray for that. Let's go ahead and turn back to AEW, though, for this match, because as soon as the interview got done, we go blackout to the stage, the chairman. I like how he's using the chair for his entrance. Like, I kind of just give the moment to the audience, let him know who you are, boos, chair claps, music goes. He's got one of the best tracks, in my opinion, on AEW right now for music. Thank you, Josiah Williams, WrestleFlow. Tully Blanchard comes out. Was Tully Blanchard actually jiving? I swear Tully Blanchard was in this music. He was feeling it.
I wouldn't be surprised.
I mean, I'm just saying. And we also learned that Pac, the dirty bastard, was joining commentary on this. And boy, did he have more to say and basically have more of an impact here than Britt Baker did on commentary during the Women's Championship match. But that wasn't the story here because the match was Shawn Spears versus his first official AEW match, I might add, Jon Moxley.
Justin Roberts was great.
Justin Roberts is brilliant.
Yeah, and when Jon Moxley came out, I was like, wait, is he actually wearing his New Japan Atari?
I thought he was too. The whole black ties, black boots and everything, and the barbed wire type on his trunks. You think he's already getting ready for King of Pro Wrestling, which I did do predictions on. I can't wait to see that. And literally,
I was like, no, man, wait until Full Gear. I wanted him to wearing his jeans, although he did say he hated wearing jeans. But imagine he building you see him in New Japan, and then he wears the jeans in AEW, and then when he gets close to his match with Kenny Omega, we see the New Japan Jon Moxley come out.
Exactly. Yeah. Well, again, I'm sure they'll evolve that, though, in the weeks going forward, especially after the post-match. But this match, I mean, he comes out with a new hoodie, unscripted violence. Keyword, folks, unscripted. Goes in the ring, confronts Shawn Spears immediately, and literally Tully tries to come into play. Dude's not doing much, but apparently he did enough. And this fight was on, and Jon Moxley controlled the first half. It wasn't until distraction by Tully where Jon Moxley suffered a mean bump in the corner, unconscious to the floor. That really changed the match's momentum. And then eventually, Tully Blanchard comes into play more. Shawn Spears he does the 10. Jon Moxley capitalizes, and he literally just beats the daylights off him. And he pulls off the, what is it, the Death Rider they call it? A Paradigm Shift, excuse me.
Yeah.
And picks up the win in a very strong, physical 10-minute bout over Shawn Spears. But that wasn't the story of the match, as Pac was saying, I am out here to prove a point that why, in the championship match, when I have a record of 2-0, beating two of the top stars in AEW, why am I not contending for the title? Why was I not involved in the number one contenders match? I am not going to be overlooked here. And
so says the bastard.
Yeah, he was not. He has some great interaction with Tony Schiavone and Jim Ross, Excalibur being the play-by-play guy, and basically, yeah, tope suicida to Shawn Spears, and running knee strike, almost like a Regal knee strike, Temple of Spears, wasn't enough. He kicked out of it, but in the end, both men just engaged in all-out warfare in the middle of the ring. Paradigm shift for the win. Jon Moxley, he celebrates, but then we get Kenny Omega up on the ramp, black tee, and the neon-type purple pants. But what's interesting was in his hand.
Yeah.
Barbed wire broom. And then he comes out behind his back with a barbed wire baseball bat.
Yeah.
Slowly walking up. Kenny Omega showing up both weapons. And he literally tosses the bat. And it looks like both men are about to get on. The crowd was red hot, chanting, holy shit, holy shit. And then Pac, with a unique way of using a chair, edge first to the back of Kenny Omega's head, literally delivering Omega had seen the Moxley. Moxley's like, what are you doing, it seems, without saying a word. It's like, hey, what the hell? And the crowd boos. Pac just, gets up and walks away.
And this is
Moxley wants to do this. Yeah, Moxley wants to do this on his own time, in his own way. He literally just walks away, looks down at Omega, walks away. So all I can say is this. I want more from all three of these men, and Shawn Spears looked very strong in this match. I enjoyed this match thoroughly for what it provided me. It was Jon Moxley's official first match. Crowd exploded for Jon Moxley, by the way, for his entrance. Which,
yeah, but we do get more of those three next week with Hangman Page into the mix.
Exactly, and we'll talk about the next week's card when we finish up this show, because we really only have one thing left after this. But as far as this match goes, I loved it. I gave it because it was like Shawn Spears, Jon Moxley's first match, one-on-one against her. And I'm sure Renee Young and Peyton Royce were watching from somewhere, because it was Ty Dillinger and Dean Ambrose. I enjoyed this match. I gave it 4 stars.
So did I.
You did it 4? Okay. Let's go ahead and tune back to NXT real quick here, because, let's see. Following the Finn Balor video package, Pete Dunne hypes like, oh, you want my thoughts on Damian Priest? Keep up. So Damian Priest thinks he's going to live forever through me. He'll be lucky to get through next week. You're going to shoot an arrow? How can you shoot an arrow with broken fingers? So we get hype, and we get made official that Pete Dunne and Damian Priest will face each other one-on-one next week on NXT. They also recap Leo Rush's tremendous opening win for the NXT Cruiserweight Championship against Drew Gulak. And we don't know what's next for him or Drew Gulak at this point. But he says, hey, I claim my destiny. It feels like a dream. It's surreal. And the storyline of the night, as we look at the main event first of NXT, somebody's O has got to go. The Time Splitter Kushida versus La Ring Hero. And it was like Goldberg-type chants for Walter during his music, instead of just people conducting or singing the theme. I was just singing the theme. And this match was everything I expected it to be. And Maranello put over that we are going to put you through this match in its entirety. They were going to go past normal TV time. They were not going to be restrained by 10 o'clock. Nothing was going to stop them from showing you this match in full. And this is basically where NXT put in their statement about, we are not your kind. We are different. This is the place where you are to be inspired. Now that McGinn is basically given a state of NXT address, the spark of inspiration, it seems. And these two beat the daylights out of each other in this match. I mean, how many kicks to the face did Kushida suffer where it looked like he was knocked out?
Yeah, and I was like wondering at times, like wow, Walter's really gonna smash his head in with his boot.
Yeah, and by the way, you heard the comic reference, of course, by Marinell, who's no stranger to pop culture, talking about how Kushida's like his watch, time's on my side, but then here comes the Watchmen. That was brilliant.
Yeah.
Well, Marinello is the king of commentary. Then now,
killed Kyle, you bastard!
But this match was crazy. The first mistake Kushida made, you don't ever slap or chop Walter. He was stupid. And it looked like he had the advantage in the beginning, but then Walter came into play after knocking his face out and literally just chopped and pounded the guy. But it wasn't until a powerbomb attempt to a DDT, Kushida gained some offense. And then off the apron, another crazy DDT spot, or Hurricane Rana spot scene, to the floor. And a near count out scene because Walter's about to take a count out. Kushida comes back into the ring only to get his face stomped in after trying to go for a sunset power bomb to the floor. I was like, if he pulled that off, ooh, vey. But it wasn't until we get after a rest hold and both men are on the top rope. Kushida pulls off the Mamma Mia moment of the match with the freaking suplex into the hoverboard lock off the top rope, tying up Walter, nearly breaking his left arm, it seems, bending it back as far as he could, literally binding his fingers, it seems, only for Walter to get his foot to the freaking bottom rope. Walter finally gains momentum with some more chops and stiff strikes and another drop kick out of nowhere. Big men aren't supposed to drop kick like that. That is crazy. That was a shotgun drop kick from a near 300-pound man. The man's 297, Kushida's 192. There's an over 100-pound weight difference here. All right? Yeah. That is crazy to think about. And friggin' leapfrog as well. But anyway, in the end, powerbomb, that was the end. No, it wasn't. This is when he's like, "You're not dreaming, Nigel." That Maranello was just getting in this. The crowd was getting in this. And then the air got sucked out of the building when, not like a clothesline from hell, but basically a wind-up lariat took Kushida out for the 1, 2, 3. What an incredible strong style match. And Kushida suffers his first defeat in NXT. Walter and Imperium remain strong. I loved everything about this match.
Yeah, I gave it a 4.5-star rating.
That's exactly what I gave it to. And then afterwards, we go into the end where we learned about the festivities coming up over the next 2 weeks. Thank you, Kathy Kelly. She tells us, again, we're going to get the rubber match next week between Keith Lee and Dominic Dijakovic. And then we're also going to get Damian Priest versus Pete Dunne. But it's also made official. We're going to get NXT North American Championship match between Roderick Strong and the Velveteen Dream.
Yeah.
Not your kind. We are NXT on USA. Show's over.
Yeah. And then back on AEW's front, we go to the main event, the Inner Circle versus the Elite. That's what I went with. I love that. And I loved how. Okay, so we didn't bring this up in the first match of the show. How they said that if the match between the Young Bucks and Private Party went to a draw, they both lose.
Oh yeah, that's right. Actual wins and losses matter. You're absolutely right. I meant to bring that up. I'm sorry. Yeah, they actually brought that out. In this case, whether it's both men's shoulders, and they haven't done that sort of play in AEW, thankfully. But if the time limit did go to a draw, both men would have been out. Simple as that.
Thank you, overtime.
Yeah, thank you AEW for actually treating matches like it makes sense. Because if it's a draw, that's it. You're done. Neither of you could beat the other, so you're done. That's the way it should be treated in time limit-based matches or double fall type counters. The one that can't ring fall apart.
The only one that gives the exception is the Iron Man match.
Well, yeah, but that's a little different.
Yeah, I said that's why I gave it the exception.
Right, exactly. Because you're supposed
especially if it's for a world title.
Yeah, I mean, you gotta have some. The thing about title match, though, you got a definitive winner. You even heard during the women's title match, this match is set for 1 fall with no time. If it's a title match, you gotta have a winner. Period. Yeah. Anyway, main event: the Natural, Dustin Rhodes, and Hangman Adam Page versus the best ever Sammy Guevara and AEW World Champion Chris Jericho, accompanied by the enforcer, I'm calling of the Inner Circle, Jake Hager. By the way, that Inner Circle shirt apparently crashed.
Yeah, I heard. Even Cody confirmed it.
And yet some people are calling that the ugliest design ever. It's better than just a name on a shirt.
Yeah. And then whereas NXT said, we are going to go until this match is over. We are going overtime. Whereas AEW was like, this match will last until the end of the show, until the time limit of the show comes to an end.
TV time available. And boy, did they play this match out to a T. And literally, Dustin Rhodes looked incredible, taking it to Jericho first and Sammy Guevara, basically teaching these guys some respect. He and Hangman Adam Page had incredible tag team chemistry, and JR even talked about how these two remind him of an old school tag team between Dustin and, Barry
Windham.
What?
Barry Windhelm.
Barry Windhelm, thank you. And these two demonstrated great. It wasn't until Jack Hager, literally just standing outside, came into play, and he took out Adam Page with a wicked right arm clothesline. I mean, out of nowhere, he goes from bland to just bam, you're gone. And then
Jericho, it's almost like the Jack Swagger we remember of the past doesn't exist anymore.
Exactly. There was no We the People chance either. That got destroyed thanks to Jericho. Jericho's brilliant. Anyway, it came into a 2-on-1 situation for a while after that, where Dustin Rhodes was getting worked over by Guevara and Chris Jericho. They were taking it in. But eventually we get a hot tag from Hangman Adam Page, and Page just turns both men inside out. Also, at one point, Dustin was trying to go for Shattered Dreams, and of course, Jack Hager, he came into play. He ran into the ring and wiped out Dustin towards the end, which led to Guevara distracting the referee and Jericho hitting the Judas Effect for the win.
It's amazing how he made an elbow get over.
Yeah, I know, right? It's just a spinning elbow strike. It doesn't look like it's any faster than anything else I've seen from others. And you've seen Andrade Cien Almas' elbow strike. That's a spinning elbow strike.
Yeah, but whereas Andrade Cien Almas is always kind of not really succeeding in the main roster, Jericho has made, let's see, he busted Kenny Omega's nose open, and he busted the top, the forehead, the eyebrow side of Hangman Page.
Yep. And yet, blood and guts actually matter here. And yet, WWE's not like, we're not blood and guts. But you saw on SmackDown what they showed from the UFC.
Yeah, which is like I said. Okay. And also, you notice this. They're not even building a story. They're just saying, oh, let's reference the UFC stuff they did, and then we can get after that.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, who knows what's going to happen November 1st, right? It's like, no, it doesn't even matter. But apparently, Cain Velasquez has signed a multi-year contract with WWE. It was a made official.
WWE title.
Yeah, exactly. Because that's his opening match. It's like...
Yeah, and I was like, oh, wow, Kofi has got to be pissed.
I'm sure he's over it. Anyway.
Oh, he was smiling after losing several seconds. And I was like, you waited 11 years for this, and you said your fight with Lesnar's not over.
There you go.
And Cain Velasquez is coming in. He gets his first title match on the first night out. It took you 11 years.
Yeah. Yeah. That's how Vince looks at you. Anyway, back to AEW. Again, folks, we talk about everything here. Welcome to us versus WWE in general, creative. So after the match, we get beat down angle. At one point, Jack Hager's taking out of the picture because Adam Page throws a chair in Jack Hager's face. Hello! And both men, they are gone. But the beatdown still continues because it's a 2-on-1 advantage over Dustin Rhodes. Lights go out. Who comes in the ring? Pissed off as ever? Cody. And he gains advantage, beats the dance out of them, rips his tie off. Crowd is electric here. And here comes Ortiz and Santana to once again bring up the numbers game. We get a beatdown in the favor of Le Champion. Only for the Young Bucks to come into play. Finally, even phase up, it seems, and Jericho to sneak out with his belt. And who comes down the ramp, though, on a skateboard and lunges himself?
Oh, first there was MJF.
Oh, yeah, I'm sorry. I keep forgetting how this played out. You know I'm tired. Yeah, before all this, MJF tried to come out, and he's got a chair, and it looked like Jericho's like, here, he's right here. Hit him, because we're all like, okay, MJF, he's totally heel, right? He's not Cody's best friend, okay? He's only in it for himself. And the crowd's like, okay, what's going to happen here? And it looks like he's going to do it. Whack to Santana's back and Ortiz and to Chris Jericho. And he's like, here, come on! It's like he's the most over face now in the company. The crowd's behind him.
Which is why it's going to be a tragedy when he does it at Full Gear, I believe.
That'd be too predictable, I feel like. But even commentary was shot by this. MJF taking it in. He smiles, turns around, gets a cold breaker for his troubles, and literally gets hung up in the ropes. Way to sell. The guy's incredible. And then we get Young Bucks coming into play. They get the advantage over the Inner Circle. And then Darby Allin
escapes.
Yeah.
Until we literally get a skate in.
Literally! And he whacks Jericho with the skateboard. Jericho's like, falls backwards. Like, that really hurt. I'm sure it did because it was a skateboard. And then we get, basically, yeah, like you said, the Elite standing tall. And Jericho's like, hey, you stupid idiots. You don't know who you're dealing with. We are the Inner Circle. And we're taking control of AEW.
Yeah.
Darby, I'll see you next week. You son of a bitch. Next week, it's going to be your funeral. And then the show ends. MJF finally MJF, by the way, initially is behind the Elite, only to finally go to Cody's side. Cody, he embraces him, and That's the end of the show. And as you said, later on via exclusive, we learned from the Le Champion, it's going to be a Philadelphia street fight. Because it's like, oh, I grew up on the street. Yeah, mean streets of Winnipeg. I wonder how mean those streets are. And then we also learned that it's going to be Riho versus Britt Baker for the AEW Women's Championship. And the tag team tournament continues.
And you got the tag team match of Hangman Page and Kenny Omega versus the Boston Pac and Jon Moxley.
Okay. What could possibly go wrong here, I wonder? Is there really any mutual friendships in this match?
Besides Kenny.
Yeah, versus two guys that have no awareness for themselves, let alone no respect, I think, for each other, that probably want to beat the dance out of each other one-on-one. I can see this devolving and becoming Jon Moxley versus Pac. But anyway, great in the main event of AEW. It was more storytelling. They worked the match within the time. Dustin Rhodes looked incredibly strong. Crowd was red hot. Adam Page, he's right now just kind of part of the elite. He's really getting his way into this. But I like the tag team chemistry he and Dustin showed. You really got to wonder what's next for Adam. I figure this is just like a reset for him now as he tries to bring himself back up. Was at the top. Now he's back here. And then Hager just takes everybody out, and then we get the post-match angle. As far as this match goes, I enjoyed it, though. I gave it 3 3/4.
I gave it a 4-star because the extra star was given because of the aftermath.
Yeah, I was just looking at the map. The aftermath, bumped it to 4 for me. And then, so let's go ahead and just our pure opinion, before we talk about ratings, expectations for next week, etc. Let's go ahead and just grade each show and talk about what we thought was the better show in our opinion. So, I thought NXT AEW, they both delivered again. Yeah. NXT gave me a fair share of story building and great matches. I saw 3 great matches, 2 squashes, literally, and we also got storytelling for the returning Finn Balor, what's next for the NXT champion, and we got 3 matches set up for next week. AEW's side, they set up a new faction. They took a shot at WWE Creative. Bravo, Jericho, you brilliant, brilliant person. And apparently the list is still alive. Ha!
Yeah.
And then we
remember, Vince basically blacklisted all of Jericho's merchandise, which basically means Jericho could be like, hey, thanks for the free merchandise opportunities, you idiot.
Stupid idiot, but yeah. And then AEW, they're giving me more of this dynamic to MJF. You almost can predict what you think is going to happen in Full Gear, but also AEW keeps making me want more and seems unpredictable. But both shows were fairly good. If I were to grade it, I'm going to give NXT B, and I'm going to give AEW a B+. And in my opinion, AEW was the better show overall for me, in my personal opinion. Eric, what about you? What's your thoughts on this week's Wednesday Night War? And your grade.
So I went ahead and actually found a site where they do a star rating calculator. I rounded up all the star ratings I gave for each show.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. At the end of the night, I gave NXT a 3.0 and AEW got a 3.8.
Dang! Pretty significant margin. So I guess under those statistics, you basically probably give NXT and AEW the same grades as me.
Yeah, but AEW gets the victory by an edge.
Yeah. Speaking of which, let's just go ahead and disclose the ratings real quick. Both shows actually dropped their ratings this week. However, the strength of AEW, I feel like you can watch AEW on 2 networks. So you can combine those numbers, it seems. And in the end, AEW, they stayed above 1 million.
Yeah, and NXT went down a little bit under 100,000.
Which is why now they're pushing the idea of we got to get out of this building. So I feel like that's got to play to AEW's strength, and that will also play to NXT's growth. Because again, even if it's not sold out, AEW is doing at least 8,000, it seems, right now. NXT stays at the flat full 800. You got to get more exposure to the brands.
Yeah, but Daryl did bring up him. He did bring up how he says that NXT's viewership, he believes, is going to stay consistent, whereas AEW might actually go off a little off the grid when the high dies down.
Well, yeah, and you also got to consider everything else going on right now. I mean, they were competing against professional baseball. No one's going to top baseball. Let's just face it. There's a bunch of amazing shows.
Time.
Yeah, there's a bunch of amazing shows that people watch. There's so much content out there. Masked Singer and all this other type crazy stuff, etc. And in the end, even these 2 shows together, they still aren't pulling in the same numbers, even at the worst of Monday Night Raw and Fox SmackDown on Fox. I don't even know what.
Yeah, Fox lost 25%.
Ouch!
Yeah, they went from 4 million to a little under 300 to 3 million.
Well, I mean, they only wanted the 3 million, right? And then TNT, they're still very happy with the numbers they're getting because they exceeded what they hoped to get. And they were like, what, 800,000 they wanted at minimum, 750,000.
Yeah, and I was speculating. Oh, I'm pretty sure on their debut night they're going to get like a little over 1 million. At best, close to 1 million. And I was like, oh, you got an extra 400,000 from that million.
Hey, good on you. Anyway, so let's go ahead and talk about what we think about next week. So here's the thing. We know we got AEW Dark. They're going to show more dark matches. You just disclosed one of them. Kenny Omega vs. Joey Janela in his second unsanctioned match. So here's the thing. That means unsanctioned matches, they don't count towards the points. This is just going to be an all-out fight. Who truly has to win here? Who needs to win here? In my opinion, I got to go with, because I think he has one of the worst records right now in AEW. I'm actually going to go with Joey Janela winning this via interference by Jon Moxley. What's your
I could technically spoil the ending, but I'm not.
Well, I appreciate that. Hashtag spoiler free. What other matches are made for AEW Dark?
Let's see. Let me just double check, just to be safe.
Go ahead. You can disclose the matches, and then people can give their thoughts, because I'm sure everybody's going to watch it, because the prize Fiend WWE gave us was a heel Bailey, even though Tessa Blanchard already beat you by miles, but I digress.
Yeah, hold on. I need to find the site where I found it at the first place. But there were images of Kenny Omega and Joey Janela fighting. With steel chairs and ladders included, I heard.
Oh, good Lord. Probably
we're gonna get a 3-way dance match. Kip Sabian, Peter Avalon, and Sonny Kiss.
Okay, so let's look at this. Peter Avalon has one of the worst records in AEW. Sonny Kiss, he beat him back at Fight for the Fallen. And Kip Sabian beat Sammy Guevara in AEW Double or Nothing. So, who do I think is going to win the match here? I'm going with Kip Sabian, pinning Peter Avalon.
And we're getting another 8-man tag team match between the Hybrid 2 and the Dark Order teaming up to take on SEMA and SCU.
Interesting, because SEMA is one person on his own, and SCU of all three of them, and we know the respect that SCU has for SEMA, the Stronghearts, and OWE. In that match, though, you got the Dark Order, and then you got the Hybrid 2 that I'm like, how the heck could these two teams look alike?
And the Dark Order has their minions.
Yeah, that's true, but I'm still going to go with SCU and SEMA on that. SCU, by the way, has the strongest trios record. They have yet to lose a trios match.
Yeah. If they build up enough guys and bring enough people in, I would love to see a trios division for Tag Team Gold.
Yeah, but by the way, those tag titles, the NXT versus the AEW tag titles, I think they're both pretty mutually good.
Yeah.
Anyway, so that's the Dark. Let's go ahead and talk about the cards next week for the show. So AEW, we already got 5 matches on this card. We got, as you said, Kenny Omega and Hangman Page versus Jon Moxley and Pac. That's going to break down. I'm just going to say that right now. There's no way this match is going to hold it intact. And as far as momentum goes, who needs the momentum right now and who I see actually taking a pinfall in this match, I don't sense it's going to end by pinfall or submission. I'm going with DQ finish by the hands of Jon Moxley. And Jon Moxley and Kenny Omega are going to fight it out. So with that being said, I'm going to say that Omega and Page win this match.
Yeah, but at the same time, I keep thinking, like, with the way they're building up Kenny Omega as this guy who's on a downward spiral and is trying to build himself back up, I get the feeling they're going to save that moment when it comes when if he defeats Jon Moxley. Now it would feel like, but I feel like they're going to save his eventual victory probably at the end of the year or maybe as the start of the new year. Because I know Jon Moxley can't afford a loss right now.
Right.
Until after Full Gear, because beating Kenny Omega is going to be a huge hit for him.
Yeah, exactly. I'm just getting started, he says. So, I mean, yeah, we'll see where you're going from here, Kenny Omega. Then we got the Tag Team Tournament continuing. We got Jungle Express versus the Lucha Bros and SCU versus the Best Friends. If SCU puts over the Best Friends, I will truly believe you're changing the world. But I am not going against SCU in that match. I'm picking SCU.
All right.
As far as the other match goes, Jungle Express still is one of the most hottest teams right now in AEW and one of the hottest merchandise stars. It's on that fact alone. I'm going with, and they need a win. I'm going with Jungle Express to win that.
Yeah, me too. And then we got the women's world title match, Rio versus Britt Baker.
Now, here's the thing about this. Yeah, it's the women's title, right? This one, though, could actually change. I still believe in my heart that Britt Baker was meant to be the initial champ at one point. But again, there's no rise here. The wrestlers right at the show, so who knows if this is going to play
out. And
there
was also the concussion she suffered from.
That's true, too. And also that means she couldn't have the title at the time. But you can't count out Riho, and she's incredibly over. Obviously, I can see Britt playing heel here and Riho being the underdog babyface that you want to see win. But figure out what could come next.
Yeah, though, here's my opinion. I get the feeling we might get 2 women matches at Full Gear.
I agree.
Rio versus an unnamed opponent yet, and Britt Baker versus Bria Priestley, and hopefully a street fight.
Yeah, because there's no doubt in my mind, Bria Priestley's going to be the reason Britt Baker loses this match. She's going to be involved, and this feud is if this is the highlight each week of the women's division, Britt Baker and Bria Priestley being the dance of each other because you haven't made the one-on-one official yet, keep giving it to me. I'm going with Riho for the win.
Yeah.
Which leads, of course, to the championship match, and we already discussed that. I believe Darby Allin's going to be looked over strong, but the fact there's no rules here, and I wonder if AEW is going to continue the approach of big match, big finish, beatdown angle, continuous storytelling in this match, because obviously this match is going to close the show. Regardless, I'm going with the champion retaining. Do you see any difference this ending this coming week on AEW Dynamite?
Well, let's see. If I had to best guess, since this is a no disqualification match, I get the feeling like the Inner Circle is going to get involved, but then Cody and the Elite are going to get involved, and then Jericho is going to finish off Darby Allin, and it looks like Darby Allin's going to get the victory, but then Jericho does a low blow or something and does the Judas effect. And then he gets the victory, and then it's just chaos all around.
Chaos seems to be the formula here, and it works because people love it. So that's
plus, this is Philadelphia. They love the chaos.
Well, it's also, yeah, you're right. I mean, you got to play towards the city, too. If the city has, this history to it. I mean, and friggin' Philadelphia, enough said. It's the city of extreme. Period. I mean, even Tom Phillips on 205 Live mentioned how it just goes from the bars in Philadelphia. You see this chair type of stuff is very normal. Because they were talking about the chair moment from ECW when Akira Tozawa was bringing all the chairs for that match.
Yeah.
But I digress. Anyway, so the NXT side, we got Dominik Dijakovic versus Keith Lee. It's got to end. This is the rubber match. So the question is, who are you going to put over more here? Dominik Dijakovic or Keith Lee?
Yeah, that's kind of hard to answer. Like, they both have a victory over each other.
And it could go either way, and I don't want it to go to a count-out or a draw. It has to end here. But with that being said, and looking at what I can see is next for one of these two men, I'm just going to say right now, Keith Lee wins the rubber match.
Yeah, I have a feeling Keith Lee's going to get the victory, but I won't be surprised if Dominik
Dijakovic. I know it's a weird name.
Gets the victory here, but I do get the feeling they should add a little bit of spice to it.
Yeah, they're going to have to outdo what they did last time. So you're going to have to do more than the crazy avalanche Spanish fly or the frog splash.
Or making Keith Lee somehow a cruiserweight, even though he's a giant.
Exactly. The limitless man. The man that just, breaks all boundaries of physics. So
yeah, I kept thinking, if Finn Balor and Tommaso Ciampa weren't back in NXT, I would really have loved it. This was a number one contendership match.
Yeah, I completely agree. But again, we got so much now in the NXT title picture. It's ridiculous. Speaking of which, we got Pete Dunne versus Damian Priest. I feel like this is a short-run feud, but they've been pushing Damian Priest strong. But this is friggin' Pete Dunne. He's going to do what he wants to get back to the top. And the man just loves wrestling, loves what he does.
And then you got to remember, he was champion for over 600 days.
The longest reigning champion of the modern era, I might add. Sorry, bro.
Regardless of what Vince believes.
The Vince has no memory of that. Anyway, I'm going with Pete Dunne for the win here. What about you?
I'm giving Pete Dunne the victory here.
Yeah, I feel like that's pretty obvious. And who knows what else is going to happen next. We're going to get a number one contenders match for the women's championship between Bianca and Rhea. And I don't know, maybe you throw an Io. Someone's got to give for that too. Because as of right now, those are the only two official matches announced for next week. The rest of the show is completely up in the air. AEW gave us the full thing.
Yeah.
And we also don't know what's next for the NXT Cruiserweight picture because nothing this week on 205 Live indicated anything of that because the Cruiserweights are still under
I think it's still a transition period for
the
this.
WWE draft. Yeah, exactly. Everything's got to fall back in place for the Cruiserweights after the draft. But as far as who won the war this week, I got to go again with AEW, in my opinion. They had the higher ratings. They gave you a new faction. They also gave you more to look forward to. And also, they made me wanting more as a fan. Not to mention the fact that they got the strength now of AEW Dark that not only gives you more matches and gives you more of an idea of who wrestles like this and what, but the wins and losses in that matter. It's not like main events.
Yeah, and then you got also good tag. The thing I loved about the Inner Circle most is that Sammy Guevara and Lax can learn from Jake Hager and Jericho.
Exactly. They're being led by veterans to put them over as the future of AEW. And that was the thing when I was looking at the AEW interviews on these talk show things like The Build and Comic Con and NYCC. This is what Jon Moxley and Chris Jericho, who constantly talk to each other, and this is why I became a fan of the both in AEW. This is why this is AEW's biggest strength. The fact that they don't have writers, the wrestlers, they can just be themselves. Like, no one can tell me how to be Chris Jericho. Only I know how to be Chris Jericho, and they're letting me be Chris Jericho. Jon Moxley talks about the ridiculous scheduling, but he sees this being a plus for the fans overall. But AEW, it makes them enjoy wrestling again. It lets them enjoy promos. Everyone's hungry. Everyone's out to prove a point. They're just focused on doing their own thing, and that plays to AEW's strength.
Yeah. And then there's NXT that might have some pressures from the network. And then you got Vince lurking around, waiting for his chance to strike.
Yeah, but I feel like Triple H is fine with what NXT is doing because it's his baby. He's comfortable with what they're doing, and he's not so much worried about that because as long as NXT lives through us, the fans who are NXT for life, he's got nothing to worry about. So it's always going to be a business call by Vince pushing it out Full Sail because, again, Triple H wants Full Sail to be along for the ride. It's their brand. They made it. They've been with them since day one. And Triple H stands by that. Proof be told on the WWE Performance Center channel when, once again, Triple H showed how everybody in NXT is NXT for life.
Yeah.
The bottom line is this. Go ahead. Sorry.
I was going to say, and then you got to remember how Vince and Triple H no longer seem to get along.
Yeah, well, we saw the awkward hug, and Vince can't accept the fact that Triple H is putting a product that's enlisting.
And then you got that interview. Triple H said, I don't see myself as the boss. I make my decisions based on logic.
There's the word. There is the word that sums up the idea of the Wednesday Night War versus Fox and USA. Logic. There is logic in the storytelling, logic in the wrestling, logic in the outlook, and logic in fan opinions. Because both AEW and NXT constantly ask, are we giving you what you want? Fans, what do you want? You saw that post from AEW like, hey, how'd you enjoy the show this week? Give us a gift of how you thought about the show. What was your favorite match? What else can we do for you?
Yeah.
When you let the fans help shape the show, but don't control the show, you're going to give something that means more to us as fans versus someone that's just like, hey, I'm here.
Here's a fan council survey that's just going to be ignored at the end of the day.
Exactly, but the bottom line is this. AEW and NXT, they make you want to be a wrestling fan again because they're including everybody in it.
Yeah, and, the certain boss upstairs doesn't want to hear that.
Well, in his own mind, he's a genius and a god. The man has lost all concept of reality as we know it, but
you want to know what was originally planned for Hell in a Cell, just to help end this on a more depressing note?
Shoot, go for it.
Vince originally wanted to have basically recreate Undertaker and Mankind Fall. It ended in a stoppage.
Oh, good lord.
Yeah, they were going to piss on Undertaker and Mankind's iconic thrown off the cell moment, have the referee stop it. Bray Wyatt gets back up like the Undertaker and strangles and tries to mandible claw Seth Rollins, and then we cut the ending. And we don't restart the match. Whereas Mick Foley got back up twice.
I'm just going to say this. You have officially ruined the Hell in a Cell gimmick. cancel the pay-per-view, and let NXT recreate the Hell in the Cell the way it's supposed to be, because they have yet to do that because they haven't found the moment it deserves.
Except for Ciampa and Gargano.
But that hasn't happened yet because we saw that ended. So if that gets recreated, that could be the feud where you finally see an NXT.
Or think about this. Kansas LeRae and Io Shirai.
Yes! I almost forgot about that. Yes, I have to agree on that. NXT, as far as strengths go, I feel like they have a stronger women's division, while AEW has the more diverse women's division between America and Japanese wrestling and some veterans and stuff like that. NXT is all fresh. There is no one that's a vet there as far as the WWE type style goes.
Except for Karma.
Yeah, that's true. But Karma, she's doing her own thing, and she talks about how AEW is a lot of fun for her, and, glows on their season finales, or series finales. So we'll see how she plays now in the ring, but right now she plays more as a backstage role model / coach. So we'll see what happens there. And as far as promos goes, Chris Jericho still gives the strongest promo because he's a 20-plus year veteran in the game. But as far as someone you're pushing the boundaries with and that's fresh and new, I got to give the promo game still to the Velveteen Dream, being, of course, pushed by Shawn Michaels, which right now I feel like, thanks to Shawn, Velveteen Dream is the strongest promo in wrestling.
Yeah, and then I kept saying, like, man, imagine if we managed to get Velveteen Dream versus Jericho in a war of words.
Take my money. Take my freaking money.
Like, we already got the dream match of MJF versus The Miz.
Yeah, exactly. And we all know MJF and The Miz, they could give us a freaking hour-long rant on each other, and I would not get tired of it. The bottom line, MJF right now, he's the most unique, fickle character you can think of in AEW, because everyone's like, okay, Saw the Earth, this guy's a dick, boo. But he proved he's Cody's friend, so now he's going to be type cheered and stuff like that. So people think this actually hurt his character? I don't think so. It adds like a different layer, because again, he's still MJF 24/7, and the bottom line was, I didn't do this for you fans. I did this for my best friend, Cody. So he's still a dick, but he proved that he's Cody's best friend. And I'm sure he'll talk about that in a media scrum too. So that's just my opinion on that. Anyway, Eric, did you freeze?
Yeah, the connection temporarily stopped.
Okay, did everything get red on my end? Sorry, folks, technical difficulties. Skype is, not so user-friendly. But I think on that note, I'm just going to close with this. Wednesday Night War, Week 2. AEW 2, NXT, I'm sorry, 0.
Yeah.
With that being said, I think we're done here.
Yeah, and then I said this before the connection got buggy and all that. I said it's going to be really heartbreaking for fans when MJF turns on Cody.
You really feel that's going to happen at Full Gear, don't you?
Either that or a little bit after Full Gear.
Yeah, imagine if Cody wins the title and then MJF, he embraces him and then drops him. And be like okay,
Kevin Owens did to Sami Zayn when he won the NXT title.
Exactly. At our Evolution, one of the best NXT events I remember, and one of Sami Zayn's probably last great matches. I wonder whatever happened to El Generico.
Yeah, he's currently in Mexico helping the orphanage.
Oh, that's noble. All right.
Still, the Elite try and think they can poison him like they did Marty Scurll and Adam Cole.
Well, yeah, but that.
I thought this. Imagine that. Okay, remember how they keep treating like Marty Scurll's dead, even though
all my friends are dead. Yeah.
Yeah, and then they bring Marty Scurll in from ROH since his contract's up in November. If they especially don't give him the world title run, but imagine he goes heel and joins the Inner Circle again because he feels betrayed.
Oh, that would be incredible. But I do watch Villain Enterprise TV, and they haven't done much with that. But the last thing was Nick Aldis and Marty Scurll. They were talking, so I feel like right now NWA is fighting for Marty Scurll, courtesy of Nick Aldis.
Yeah.
But I guess we'll see what happens. There's so much dynamics right now in wrestling. You got the NWA, you got AEW, you got NXT, you got all these.
You got Impact Wrestling.
Yeah. Ring of Honor and Impact maybe merging. You got changes coming to New Japan Pro Wrestling come next year. 2019 has reset a wrestling boom, and I love it.
Yes.
Bottom line is this. We win. We the fans win. We are pro wrestling, and you can't be too much of it. Simple as that.
Prize in our mugs.
Yep. All right. Well, I basically said everything that's on my mind. Eric, any closing thoughts?
Let's just say this. I would like more, please.
Simple as that. I'm done here. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for tuning in.
Yeah, have fun, and we'll see you all again next week for week 3.
Later, folks.